Welcome back to Driven Daily. In this episode we're working on the Modest Miata, and this is the car that I've been hill climb racing for the past 2 years very successfully, and generally daily driving, but right now it's engineless, so I can't really do that. So this is a perfect time for me to add a couple of safety features that I've been putting off for a while. In the last episode we added the roof bars, and I'm very happy with how those came out. Most Miatas are going to get spec Miata cages, and that'll just have a single diagonal or a single overhead in the roof, and it's going to have a single diagonal going from the back up and a single diagonal going from the floor to beside the driver's head to put the seat as far back as possible. I happen to be short enough that I can sit entirely in front of the main hoop, and that means that I can add the extra X to kind of shore this up and make it as safe as possible. Spec Miata doesn't have a lot of the dangers that hill climb does, like trees and rocks and cliffs with trees and rocks on them. So the goal today is to continue these roof bars back to the opposing corner, essentially making the whole car into an X. These should be fairly straightforward tubes to make. Okay, so fast forward a little. You've seen me cut before on the Datsun project. This is pretty much the same. I don't have a tubing notcher yet, but that is roughly what I'm looking for. I've got a little bit more fine tuning to do on this, which is going to bring that tube in just slightly, and that'll work out fine. It should line up pretty much exactly. I'm pretty happy with that. Now the other side is going to take a little bit more work because I've got to cut out a cutaway. This side had the fuel filler and all that under an access panel, so it was pretty easy to get to. I essentially just need to mimic that over there. Let's get cutting. So because I'm right on top of the fuel tank here and I don't want to really throw a lot of sparks on that, I'll be using a jigsaw for this with a metal cutting blade. If I could, I would be using air tools, but I haven't finished plumbing up the shop air yet, so this will do. The jigsaw won't fit under the rear brace, so I can't cut along the line that I was planning to cut. I don't really want to have to bring the compressor all the way over here and figure out how I'm going to power it and charge that up and then use air tools, but if that's what it comes down to, I might need to. That's surprising news. Our electrician has already wired up both compressors. We'll talk about the compressor setup in another episode once I plumb shop air. But that made getting compressed air out here much, much easier. Now I have two options for which tool I want to use. One is essentially the same saw I was using, just with a slightly smaller blade, and the other is a set of shears. This one just is a reciprocating saw, a teeny tiny reciprocating saw, and this one is a set of shears. Alright, so the cutout is done. I went over the really rough edge really quickly with just a simple hand file, and that's not really any danger of cutting myself anymore. So now I've got to measure up what size tube I need and start chopping that down and coping it. 4 and let's cut that. Oh man, guys, that fit up is superb. I've got almost no gap the whole way around. I'm super happy with that. I'm not going to weld it in tonight though, not because I'm out of time and welding would take a long time. I'm super excited to get them in, but I want to redo this harness bar. I kind of rushed it the last time that I did it, and I'm really just not happy with it. And if I weld these in, that's pretty much stuck the way it is. It'll be really hard to get access to remove this one and to weld in a new one covering both seats. So I'm just going to do it while I have all this apart before I start welding everything together. So that'll probably be the next episode. We also have the Mount Philo wrap up, which is the last event from last season. I just haven't had time to record it yet. It's a really good event though. That one should be fun. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon, and then go get in the shop. Like, get something done. Race. The fart tool. This is Mike's favorite tool. Because farts.